Onegaishimasu. Okay, so who would like to demonstrate a technique, one of their favorite techniques in their usual technique-based class? Don't be shy. Frank, would you like to show me a technique?
Favorite one.
Okay, whatever one. Let's take a look at it. What do you want from me?
Maybe grab.
Katatori? Okay. One more time in slow motion. Okay, so you kind of threw me, kind of took advantage, made sure I didn't give my arm out of the way, made sure that I was, that you could do the technique to me. Okay, so that's what we know about doing Aikido to somebody. Now what happens, what's got to happen, if this is to really be harmonious and not kind of not what I want, not against what I want, what does it have to be? Well, let's look at what the ukemi has to be. I'm reaching out here, and as he's going around, I'm reaching for something like his head. Okay. So without him present, it would look something like this. Is that what it looked like? Okay. So what is Uke thinking? Okay, what I'm thinking is, it has to start with me penetrating his center, because the attack originates from me, my need to connect to the source of my being through his center, because I can't consciously get to it through mine. So I'm sending my energy to his connector, which in this case is his arm. So if he lifts that arm up, I'm going for the arm. Okay? Now you're just going to go with me this time. Okay. So as this goes in here like this, and he moves his center out of the way, my elongation, see, I'm reaching for his head. See? And if I do that kind of what I call a stretch, he doesn't have to do anything except take care of me. If I grab his arm and he starts to do Shiho Nagi on me and I feel it, I'm going to start tensing up more likely. Boom. Because to feel your arm do this, that scares you. Your limbic system goes into a big, deep kind of alarm setting, right? So if you reach for this, now come and get my face instead with this hand. So I don't have to throw him anymore, because in essence it's his intention that's bringing him to the floor. Does that make sense? Can you come up with a different attack, a different technique now? Two hands? Ryota Dori? Okay, sorry. Tenchinage. Okay, what's going on with Uke? Well, he grabs, and his idea is that I'm just going to control this person. Whoa. Okay, now, what do you see happening here? I see a Nikyo and a Ikkyo. Ikkyo on this side, Nikyo on this side. So now, let's experiment for a second. Put your hands out as connectors, and I go, why? No, 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 no. Why you? You didn't have to do anything, right? If I drive it, I can't do it anymore. Boom. Because why? You're saying you can't hold on here. But if you let me hold on here, if you let me hold, no, see, you're already getting defensive. You're already starting a technique. I'm just asking you to be with me for a second. And I get here, now you're still not with me. Just make yourself available, okay? Now I'm gonna, okay? Okay, now, is there a real intention there? You bet. My intention on this side is to get this way, okay? My intention with this one is to keep this one out of the way, okay? So I can confront him, so I can get his attention. So when I send this energy here like this, that happens really naturally. Okay? Now, I'm not saying every attacker is going to do that, but we suppose they are. So we practice making it happen. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to hold my hands together. Then I have to force you, right? But if I open myself up to this idea of giving myself over to what his connection needs, then I'm going to give it to him, and he's going to dictate how his throw goes, right? However, when we look in technique-based practice, what I learned watching technique-based practice when I was in there, but more involved with this kind of thinking, is I'd watch the ukemi and say, what has to happen? What does Uke want? How is his need being established through this technique to make that technique happen spontaneously? Because Takemusu Aiki is O-sensei saying, this is just free-floating, no technique, it just happens. Okay, so it has to be from Uke, right? So what happens? Can you show me one more technique, please? Yeah. Well, we typically will. You know, we get a repertoire of maybe 1,000 techniques, but there's 4 we really do all the time if left to our own devices, right? But slow motion one more time. Okay, good. Okay. All right, so one more time with that, please, so I can get a handle on it from the ukemi standpoint. Good. Okay, now from the ukemi standpoint, it or one more time, please. There. Okay. So it looks kind of like this. Right? So let me do it this time. Okay? So first things first. I'm going to connect. So send energy to me. Now as I push, keep the same energy to me and turn off the line. Now look where he is. So now I'm going to turn my center back to him, and he's going to do the same thing with a tenkan again. Now look where he is. Now where my energy expands out. Okay? So now you see where my intention really drove that technique. He didn't have to do anything that time. Right? So all our techniques are derived from ukemi, right? Not the other way around. Somebody didn't think this up. I don't think O-sensei said, okay, grab this. Okay, now I'm going to pull you over here. And when you get nervous, I'm going to flick your elbow up and make you even more nervous. Then I'm going to move over here and make you even more nervous. And then I'm going to drop you instead of breaking your arm because you know that you'd rather be dropped than have your arm broken. All right, I don't think he did that. I think he was looking at what happens with an attack. So, showman strike, please. What's happening with that attack? He's going through. Now right here, where's your target? Where's your target? There it is. Okay, so all I have to do is connect with him. He's got an intention already, and he's going to make it all happen. Right? So we want to look at what happens with uke and how what we do affects uke. So one more time. Now what? I go to do ikkyo, and what does he do? Whoa! Boom! Because he doesn't really want to go that way. He does his showman strike, and I send it into ikkyo. He doesn't really want to do that, does he? Andy, you take me right out this way, right? Okay? So my intention to do this technique actually gets in the way of Takemusu Aiki, and or gives him this feeling of being thrown, of being taken advantage of. Now I got a lot of leverage here, I've got a good intention, I got my energy sending into it, but he gets a bad feeling from all that. Like, you didn't have anything to do with that. It had something to do with this part, and then it's punishment from then on out, yeah. Right? Okay, well, I don't want him to feel punished for what he does, because we talked about, Don and I had to talk about moral quality, moral law. Moral principle is any principle, sound moral principle, is any principle that you would agree to no matter which end of the stick you were on. In other words, do unto others as you would have them do unto you is kind of like the basis. Treat others like you would want to, is kind of the bottom line basic moral principle. Now, if I make the mistake of attacking somebody, I want them to be merciful to me, right? You screwed up and you're going to pay for it, not only now, but for 3 more weeks as you nurse that broken jaw, right? I don't want that, so I'm not going to impose it on him. What I want to do is I want to really bring that moral quality, which I believe O-sensei wanted us to do, into this interaction, so that as he strikes, I'm right here saying, that's okay, I gotcha, you're okay, and everything's going to work out, I understand. Now the reason I'm doing that is I understand that his fundamental need, whatever his superficial need is, like I parked in his space, I bought his wife a drink, I talked to his kids when he wasn't around, any reason that he would have for attacking me is really the superficial level of a much deeper need to feel that the universe is supporting him, that the universe that's bringing this energy up is actually there for him and informing him. His ego is saying, well, wait a minute, because all these things in the universe I don't like, they're not for me. We've got to change that. We've got to get that guy out of office and this guy in. We've got to keep this guy in office and get that guy out because they're not doing what we want. And we got to get all the yang out of the world so the yin can live by itself. Right? That's what our ego tells us. But if we can transcend that ego, know that what his need for is something greater than us both, and not treat him like someone who's worthy of punishment, but someone who's worthy of care, then we both come out of this. The world has now entered a new phase of harmony. And this to me is what O-sensei literally meant. Because for years and years and years, I'd read O-sensei's sayings and I go, oh yeah, that's really nice. It's really flowery, ethereal kind of stuff, but it really doesn't translate into real life stuff, except kind of on this fantasy level. But now we see that it really makes a difference all the way around. It really does. Now, I'm letting him do that because he knows ukemi, and he knows how to fall, and he knows how to roll, and so I don't have to take care of him. But I'm not throwing him, and that's because when my real life attacker comes through who doesn't know Aikido, I don't want him to fall down. I want him to feel secure right here. And if he goes to attack me again from here, he's just going to put himself on the floor.